Pre-match routine between these two has become very familiar indeed. There have been some brilliant battles in recent times. Denmark have enjoyed themselves, of course. But to the team news we go. Hugo Lloris moves to within one cap of Lilian Thuram's all-time French record total. Luca Hernandez, tournament-ending knee injury, opens the door for his brother Theo to start, with Varane and Koundé coming into the side too. There's style and steel in an unchanged midfield, and Olivier Giroud is one goal away from becoming France's all-time top-scoring male international. Konate and Pavard drop down to the bench. Waving the tricolour enjoyed the opening match day in the end against Australia. Poland's Simon Marciniak is in the middle, as he was during the UEFA European Championships in 2016 and for a couple of games at the last World Cup in Russia in 2018 as well. Two vastly experienced captains in discussion with him to sort out the usual housekeeping. As ever, the VAR hub is where decisions are reviewed and is from where games can take a real twist. Thomas Kwiatkowski is the boss there. Qatar's Taleb Al-Mari is the offside expert. Kasper Schmeichel wears the gloves amidst 4 Danish changes tonight. Victor Nelson's impressive form for Galatasaray earns him a start in the back line in place of Simon Kjær. Thomas Delaney will miss the rest of the tournament, so extra emphasis will be on the midfield presence of Højbjerg and Eriksen. And there are 3 attacking changes too, with Damsgaard, Lindstrom and Cornelius impressing from the bench in Game 1 to start Game 2. Dolberg, Skov Olsen and the aforementioned unfortunate Delaney step aside. So much emphasis put on the 2 number 10s. In this battle, Eriksen and Mbappe will look to step up for their respective countries. The French have an eye on the round of 16 and will progress with victory. The Danish have a point in the bag but could do with more. And although they cannot be sent home or sent through this evening, their chances of success would be greatly improved if they can continue their eye-catching recent record against Didier Deschamps' side. Final moments in which to think before the action gets underway. France in blue, Denmark in white and red. The equation is simple for the French at kickoff. Win the game and through they go to the round of 16 with 1 game to spare. The Danes know a victory would put them in a strong position to progress, while defeat would give them real problems to solve on the group's final day against Australia. Here's Joachim Mæhle, one of the stars of qualifying for Denmark. Joint top scorer with 5 goals in 9 appearances from that left wing-back role. And it will be interesting to see how these sides settle into the occasion tonight.
Yeah, I mean, France, after conceding an early goal against Australia, they were devastated, particularly down that left-hand side. Hernandez came on to replace his brother and combined with Mbappe. Some unbelievable football played, and so they look really strong, France. But Denmark, they struggled to score goals, create chances against Tunisia, and they'll be looking to put a better performance tonight.
Denmark don't score many goals, but they don't concede many either. In qualifying, they ended up bagging a fair few in certain matches. Impressed on their way here. Didier Deschamps says they are underrated as a nation. Maybe the job he has done in charge of France has been as well. He's been in the dugout now for a decade. Hasn't always been smooth sailing, but of course trophies have followed. Rasmus Christensen here, well forward for Denmark, as he so often is. Nelson from Christensen. Mæhle. All the way back to Kasper Schmeichel, who plays his club football in France now these days, of course. Wearing the colours of Nice after his move from Leicester City in the English Premier League.
Just watching the setup for Denmark, they're sort of like a lopsided. Mæhle will get a lot further forward at left wing back. There's Christensen on the other side. Sometimes get high, but he balances out defensively. You can see how France is set up out of possession, not particularly pressing high, but are inside Denmark's shape, forcing it all play wide. Quite happy for Denmark to have it wide.
Tidy work from Jesper Lindstrøm.
It's a great opportunity for him to come in and start and impress.
He's already beaten his goal-scoring tally from last season, by the way, with 8 goals this time round. And it goes from Mæhle. Seen away by Olivier Giroud, who will be important going forward, of course, tonight, but he's one of those who slots in neatly in defensive mode for club and country. Currently flying, of course, up front with AC Milan in Italy's Serie A. Top scorer with 9 goals this campaign. Dembele setting the French on their way. Adrien Rabiot for the first chance for Mbappe to run at Denmark. And he is very swiftly closed down. Nicely done by Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Rasmus Christensen, through it goes. Cornelius couldn't take it with him.
Højbjerg is so important to Denmark in terms of the way he progresses the ball. Delaney's a big loss. And when Denmark lose possession, he was that physical player right in front of the back three. Christian Eriksen dropped and obviously got more control, but then you sort of lose his creativity from further up the pitch. So Damsgaard has to take control of that aspect of the game.
Nelson's header for Eriksen. Højbjerg once again. Christensen. Anderson forward to him again. Højbjerg. Not quite turned around the corner enough by Lindstrøm. Play by Theo Hernandez, who will be delighted to start for France, but of course in unfavourable circumstances from his point of view. His brother picking up a serious injury in the last game. Mæhle looking to get on the end of this. Well marshalled though by Ousmane Dembele, who turns defence firmly into attack here. Rabiot now. Kylian Mbappe. Dembele tries to dig it out from under his feet. Wasn't the first touch perhaps he wanted. Just an example perhaps of how Denmark will look to try and be progressive, but there's always a danger in that.
Yeah, I mean, because the way that France, when they regain possession, can get up the pitch quick. It's been quite a low-key start from both teams, both figuring each other out, but first we saw there of Mbappe having a bit of space, and Denmark seemed to prefer him to just stay out wide and close him down, but just as compact as possible. The back five.
Andreas Christensen. Nelson. Damsgaard. Managed to find a bit of room for Eriksen to charge into, and Cornelius trying to get on the end of it. Just watched all the way back by Upamecano. Neatly played around by the French, who looked to step out from the back after being squeezed in by the Danes. Tchouaméni. Varane. Back in the side after an injury scare, of course, when he picked up the knock for Manchester United. And there were fears he would miss the World Cup. Plenty of others have, of course, for the French. Rabiot, Upamecano, Hernandez. Mbappe always keen to get on the ball and very keen to run at defenders. And Rasmus Christensen won't take any messing about tonight.
Yeah, he'll have to be at the top of his game. Rasmus Christensen on that right-hand side, just making sure that he doesn't get overloaded. And Mbappe and Hernandez joins in.
Dembele. Rabiot. Mbappe backpedaling and firing it in towards Griezmann. Olivier Giroud was hovering with intent in the middle as well. Dembele. Rabiot. Jules Koundé. Coming into the side tonight, replacing Benjamin Pavard. Big part of that World Cup success 4 years ago, Pavard, of course. Terrific goal scored in the round of 16 win against Argentina.
They have such choice in the back four, particularly the centre-backs, France.
There aren't many nations who could deal with the withdrawals that they've had to deal with and still have a side which many would be jealous of. Mbappe helps it on to Hernandez. Options are plenty in the middle. Rabiot's there, Giroud's there. A fresh air swipe in the end because of the defensive attentions of many. And that is loose.
They look more settled in this 4-2-3-1. I mean, Griezmann goes where he wants. He's an important player when France regain possession, but they look like they can defend better and have a little bit more control over the game, but quite happy to be passive in the press and keep Denmark in front of them.
Eriksen. It's a beautiful switch of play. Rasmus Christensen tiptoeing along the line. It'll roll away, but it won't go out. Lindstrom retrieves. Denmark can go again until the intervention of Hugo Lloris.
I do like that front three of Denmark. Cornelius, physical, puts himself about, and then you've got the technical players around him, Damsgaard and Lindstrom.
It is a 141st French cap for Hugo Lloris, which means he is now just one behind Lilian Thuram's all-time French record for a male international. Tchouaméni, and just appearance number 16 for his country at the age of 22. Rabiot. Hernandez on to Mbappe, and Griezmann tried to return the favour.
Griezmann in those positions, just combining, overloading wide areas. Sometimes will wander central, but technically very, very clever.
Free kick given away here by Anderson.
Anderson knows that he has to get close to Mbappe, but to be very careful, the Danish defence, that they don't get cheap yellow cards.
The delivery will come via the left boot of Antoine Griezmann. So many waiting for it. and it could have gone off the head of anyone in blue or white and gone anywhere.
It's a terrific ball in from Griezmann. Just needed someone with a blue shirt on to get a good touch. He wasn't far away there, Varane.
Certainly a delivery that asks questions, and there'll be another one coming from the same player in a moment. Griezmann has made the journey to take the corner. And up they rise, and somehow it was dug away from the Denmark goal.
It's too clever. Set piece corner kicks. I think it was Varane at the near post there. It was heading towards goal. It just needed someone on the end of it. That's dangerous.
Dembele jumping and fouling in the eyes of our referee.
I just led with his arm, didn't he? This is the corner. Varane got something on it, and he just needed one of his teammates in there. I think it was Mela in the end that got his foot on the end of it to clear it, but that could have gone anywhere.
A couple of scary moments for Denmark. Victor Nelson seemingly fine after that aerial clash. A player who's really stood out at Galatasaray of late and has flown up the Danish pecking order as a result of that. He says he loves playing in Turkey, but the only thing that makes him really angry is the traffic. I think we would all agree with anywhere in the world. From Rasmus Christensen.
I actually can't believe that the French are quite passive in their press and letting Denmark have the ball. I thought they'd go after them with the pace that they've got.
Nelson came to meet Koundé, and Griezmann likewise on Damsgaard. It's always a sign of a really good side when the attacking players work hard defensively as well. Mbappe. Tchouaméni. Picks it up again from Hernandez. Mbappe easily into the stride of Dembele. Naylor is keeping an eye on him. That's not quite enough. In from Dembele for Giroud. Once again, France just crowded out at the last moment.
Dembele is really developing into a fine player at winger. He beat the defender twice before putting a fantastic ball in, and Giroud just stays between the posts. That's his job. Width of the post, the 6-yard box. Quietly goes about his business, pins the centre-backs and just allows France to play. Get the balls into the box, and they know that he'll be on the end of it, and the players around him, Mbappe, Griezmann, Dembele, know about his runs. They know the way he works.
Ousmane Dembele spent about 2.5 years in the international wilderness, really. Not playing for France, just trying to pick up the form for his club. Former player at Dortmund, these days, of course, at Barcelona in Spain. Two coaches with plenty to discuss from the opening quarter of an hour or so. Hernandez. Griezmann. Loose from Mbappe. Tries to chase to win it back.
Denmark are just trying to overload the edge to stop Mbappe and Hernandez combining with each other, as we saw them do a number of times in the game versus Australia.
Made by Varane. All the way back to Kasper Schmeichel. Mainstay in qualification, the Danish #1, and indeed at the last World Cup as well. Nelson. Andreas Christensen at Barcelona these days, after a fair old while on the books of Chelsea in England.
France is so narrow in the defensive shape, just forcing Denmark to play it wide, leaving Rasmus Christensen on his own and Mæhle on this left-hand side on his own, and then it will just shift across and move quickly in the units.
Tchouaméni, Griezmann, Koundé. Hernandez on the run. Giroud not quite having it played into his stride. Olivier Giroud, incidentally, has 3 goals in 4 appearances against Denmark. He's only scored more goals against Australia and Iceland, and only 1 more against both. He, of course, bagged a brace in the victory over Australia in the first game in this competition. Rabiot and Mbappe, the other scorers, while Denmark were drawing 0-0 with Tunisia on match day 1. Mæhle. Dembele stops him in his tracks.
Mæhle's such a strong presence down Denmark's left, source of a lot of assists.
Cornelius looking to try and bring others into play. Mæhle for Damsgaard. They just couldn't quite stretch out enough. And now Denmark themselves could be stretched, and that could be a real problem for them. Mbappe chopped down in his prime. Andreas Christensen will get a lecture and a card which appears, for now at least, to be yellow.
And that's the danger when you're playing against a player like Mbappe. You put players forward, France win it back, and it's been quite low-key, but that's a terrific ball. I mean, look at the pace of Mbappe. There's really nothing else Christensen could do other than let him go. Just grabbed him. He was quite far away from goal. Had Mbappe gone through, he would have been straight through one-on-one with the goalkeeper.
You can file that one firmly under the category of taking one for the team. They were covering defenders, but they would have struggled to catch Kylian Mbappe. Kasper Schmeichel knows that, or Peter Schmeichel rather, knows that his son Kasper Schmeichel has a fair few looking to attack him this evening. Dembele whips one over, and Kasper Schmeichel had to be right on his toes. It was a stinging attempt on goal.
Rabiot's got that in his locker. He's tall, physically able, and the ball in from this right-hand side. The only thing just as good as the header was the save from Schmeichel. I've just been watching Griezmann for a few minutes. He's sort of a hybrid position he's playing. It's a central midfield 8 position, and then he moves to the 10 and drifts across.
And here's Mbappe looking to play him and Dembele into the game. Foul by Rabiot.
Denmark have really got into the passing rhythm that we know that they're capable of. At the moment, they're having to defend. Good crosses in. It's a terrific header. Schmeichel had to be right at the top of his game. It came really fast. There's a lot of pace in the cross, and then Rabiot just guided it, trying to get it past Schmeichel.
Adrien Rabiot, an important player for France when he's picked and when he wants to be picked as well. He was put on the standby list for the last World Cup, but reportedly turned the offer down. This is cap number 31 for him this evening. Looking to add to his goal against the Australians a few days back. That is a foul and a booking. Andreas Cornelius.
Yeah, Denmark lost control of the ball then. The wing-backs have been playing quite high, including Rasmus Christensen on that right-hand side, and he usually would sit and come from behind the ball, but he's just trying to force France back. I think as the ball came loose, I'll be able to say that perhaps he was fouled as well, and the ball was there to be won. Cornelius just standing on Giroud. France won't want to lose him, and the guarantee of goals because of the service that he has in this team.
Well, the centre forwards in reserve for France are impressive but inexperienced at this level. Randall Kolo Muani and Marcus Thuram, those waiting on the bench to be called upon. Of course, there's no Karim Benzema. And France only have a 24-man squad now, because initially only named a 25-man squad, and then various players withdrew from injury, and of course Luca Hernandez with a nasty anterior cruciate knee ligament injury in the build-up to Australia's goal the other night. Jules Koundé. His versatility could be important with France a little down on numbers. Generally a centre half, but able to play in the right back slot. Back to Schmeichel.
Pretty even. I think it's a little bit of a composed attack, and then the other team will have a composed attack. They've not really putting pressure on each other. I thought the intensity would be a little bit higher, but the game hasn't really got in the swing yet.
France's sole effort on target so far, that of Adrien Rabiot, the header saved by Kasper Schmeichel. We're still waiting for Denmark to make their presence felt in the final third, and it won't happen just now. Mæhle unable to juggle the ball the right side of the line.
I think France are showing Denmark some respect as well. They're not going after them, they're just setting up in a 4-4-2 to out of possession. And just trying to stop the passing lanes, staying inside Denmark's shape. Then, you know, we've seen it once, Mbappe, the pace that he's got if you get the ball in the right areas.
Lloris selling the dummy and then finding Upamecano. Hernandez backed into a little bit of a corner. They might have played themselves into trouble here. Pinched away by Eriksson. There is always a danger that you can play with fire a little bit in those kind of situations.
Yeah, sometimes when you play it when it's a low intensity and low key, then you sort of lose concentration. It happened then for France, but Denmark didn't take advantage of the situation.
The ball strikes the referee, so we will restart. Of course, the danger of winning your first game, as France did, with what turned out to be a thumping scoreline, is that if you then lose to Denmark in game two, Denmark are actually ahead of you in the table with that extra point gained on that opening day. So not a good idea to be casual or get into that mindset. Nelson. Højbjerg. Andreas Christensen. Rasmus Christensen after that. Away by Hernandez.
That switch is always on. Christensen's always available. Further holding that width on that right-hand side.
Eriksson was the target, but it broke the way of Denmark anyway, and Jesper Lindstrøm. Rabiot taking charge.
Denmark having Christian Eriksen further up the pitch, obviously uses his creativity, but I just think that in terms of control of possession, coming from behind it in that central midfield area with Højbjerg, they have more control over the ball, Denmark.
Upamecano spotted Mbappe on the run. Anderson had to stay close to him. Damsgaard made a swift charge through the middle, but out wide they go instead. Upamecano tidying up. Eriksson. Snappy turn by Lindstrøm. But he was shown the door neatly by Hernandez.
Yeah, it's nice and tidy from Denmark. They're trying to create something that get a ball into the box, but not quite at the level that we normally see from them. The game definitely needs a goal, liven it up.
No surprise to see things tight with the Danes on the field. They only conceded 3 goals in their 10 qualification games. They won 9 of those. They'll be tested here by Kylian Mbappe. Giroud in the middle. Dembele joining. Mbappe still going. Koundé with power. And plunged upon by Schmeichel.
And Mbappe's perfect scenario is if you can face up Christensen on that right-hand side and isolate him, which he did. It's just that burst of pace that just gets him away from both of the Danish defenders that were trying to mark him.
Half an hour played. The majority of the scares, I suppose, have been in the Danish penalty area.
Yeah, when you've seen the quality of Mbappe or the quality of France's set pieces, there's been the chances that they've had.
They have the players who relish a breakaway, but the ball has to be right, and it wasn't quite on that occasion from Olivier Giroud. Anderson, Andreas Christensen, Victor Nelson. A switch for Rasmus Christensen. Now Lindstrøm. Once again, French defenders tight to their man, and once again it's a goal kick, which not everyone in Danish white agrees with.
Yeah, they're kind of trying to work it well. The assistant referee is quite close to that. Did come off Upamecano last. You can understand why the Danish players were asking the referee.
Both head coaches making their point to their respective players. Giroud's header. Dembele with Mailer. Monday back to Rafa Varane.
There's only one on target from France. When they've decided to mix it up, France, and play it a little bit longer, look for runners with the pacing behind, they've got some joy.
Griezmann trying to win it back. And he has it again here. Looks for Giroud, gets it back as well. Not too many options for him here, so he decides to go for it. Away just about from Schmeichel. Still alive for France, and Dembele. Denmark just furiously trying to get their shape back. France start again with Upamecano. Dembele. Causing all kinds of problems with that drop of the shoulder. And here's Koundé. Options are plenty, including Mbappe. Denmark survive. Rabiot. Always keen to strike. And out it goes off Rasmus Christensen.
The French players like Griezmann and Mbappe decide to turn it on and they come alive in transition. They look like scoring France, but it hasn't happened as often as the French fans would like in this stadium.
Griezmann. Down goes Tchouaméni. Oh, Cornelius. I'll tell you what, he needs to be very careful, having already been booked.
Tchouaméni. I think the fact that he's still on the floor makes it look worse than it was. I just think he was edged out, but this is a play from Griezmann. And he actually caused problems for Schmeichel as well from that really tight angle. Didn't really have any help trying to get it through Schmeichel's legs. Different dynamics in this French team. Griezmann, a different technical player to the likes of Mbappe with a pace, but both of them so effective.
And only two men have scored more goals for France than Antoine Griezmann. Thierry Henry and Olivier Giroud. Griezmann's ball. Dealt with by Anderson. Tchouaméni. Griezmann again. Mbappe shaken off the ball all too easily, and here go Denmark. Chance to hit on the counter-attack themselves. Cornelius strikes it, and wide it goes. Hugo Lloris certainly concerned by that, as were France as a whole.
Yeah, it's the first time we've really seen that from Denmark. On the break, on the counter, getting bodies up the pitch. I'm not sure whether that might have been offside had it hit the back of the net. It's a good strike in the end. And Lloris was definitely concerned about that near post.
It's Denmark's first attempt. Just a little bit of a concern for Didier Deschamps. Mbappe and Hernandez. Germany. Dembele screaming for it on this near side. It's worked its way over there now. Dembele. You just never know what he's going to do. Looks for Mbappe. And Giroud's after this one. Well, he came in with such force, such power, but just not with the accuracy required.
Great chemistry between Mbappe, Giroud and Griezmann. Just putting the ball, it's there to be won. And obviously he has that physicality, Giroud. Nelson just did enough, didn't he, to ensure that header went wide.
I think as he rose for that header, he'd actually had the fewest touches of any player on the field, Olivier Giroud. But, you know, from his history, it only takes one telling touch and the game can turn in his side's favour. Mailer. Dembele once again working hard, going backwards. Højbjerg. A fair bit of room for Rasmus Christensen. Although Hernandez is swiftly across, but is then beaten. And it was tucked in there for Cornelius, who just wasn't expecting it there.
Tell you what, Rasmus Christensen is going absolutely crazy. I mean, he did really well. Look, Megs Hernandez, and what a ball this is. Across the face of the goal.
We are starting to see more from Denmark.
He's always on. Christensen is always on. When Denmark have controlled possession, the wing-backs get high. France are worried about Mailer on the left-hand side, but sort of leaving Christensen. I think he's more defensive, but he's got in really good positions.
Hernandez. Down he goes. Was he clipped? The referee says no. Tells him to get up, and Denmark will get on with it. Well played by Griezmann. Not once, but twice. Arching it towards Giroud.
Nelson had lost Giroud then. Just couldn't figure out where he was, got his body position all wrong, but luckily Giroud didn't get control of the ball.
Varane away from Cornelius. No free kick for Tchouaméni. It's Upamecano's ball. And Dembele will try and sprint away. And will look for others in the middle. It's Mbappe! Well, by his standards, that is a very presentable opportunity.
Yeah, Dembele just wanders down this right-hand side. He's been involved, and there he's on his own. And this is the problem for Denmark. If they don't get that back five intact, well, they may have been offside, but it's all about the ball in. It's coming at him fast, Mbappe, but he's such a good footballer. You would expect nothing less than that going in the back of the net. Chance.
Cornelius after this. Upamecano had to be aware of his presence. And he is down. Was it a late challenge from Cornelius? He is being spoken to by the referee.
I mean, he's a big physical player, Cornelius, but what he needs to make sure of is that he just makes sure he's on a yellow card. Just be careful. He just stood on Upamecano. I'm not sure he meant to do that, but all these add up in the referee's head.
You sense the game's at a bit of a tipping point in the sense that the two sides are working hard against each other. Any numerical advantage would surely be exploited. Mbappe. Rasmus Christensen just showed him the door, really.
It's going to be a long 90 minutes for Christensen, but I think he's coped quite well. It's almost impossible to defend against 1v1 Mbappe.
We're into the final moments of the first half, plus a few that will naturally be added on at the end. Although we haven't had too many stoppages thus far. Here's Griezmann. Dembele wanted the switch. Instead it's with Tchouaméni and Koundé. Nicely done between the two, but Nelson won it and then got caught. That'll be a card for Koundé. And a painful one for the Danish centre-half.
He didn't really have the ball under his control, Koundé, and ended up standing on Nelson's ankle, and that's a really sore one. Just a lunge into him.
Chance for a breather for some. And it will just be a case of maybe trying to see Victor Nelson through to half-time.
Yeah, a little bit naughty that.
Kasper Hjulmand quickly up to defend his player and call for action against the Frenchman. He helped the nation fall in love with its national team again, many have said, since replacing Aga Haraider in 2020.
It tells you a lot about the way that Mbappe plays. Trying to get the ball in spaces where he can hurt the opposition with his pace.
Nelson is okay to continue. Højbjerg. Anderson. Not quite to Joachim Mæhle.
Not quite clicking, Denmark. Look like they're set up to not want to lose this game, not want to concede. I think France have probably done enough to score at least one goal in this first half. But again, they're quite passive out of possession.
Eriksson. And just looked up and thought, well, do you know what? I'm going to have a go at this.
A little bit of frustration there, I think. Christian Eriksen. We need another Christian Eriksen in those further forward places. Damsgaard, it's the area that he needs to come alive in. I know he has that quality.
3 extra minutes to play. Go Giroud, on go Denmark. Germany steps in, so does Varane. Griezmann opens it up nicely for Hernandez. Mbappe running with him. This is Rabiot. Mbappe. Giroud fighting to get free in the middle, but the ball doesn't find him.
Denmark are defending in numbers, and everybody back. One forward, using Cornelius. You know that they have to smother Mbappe just as he receives it. Not quite the quality you would expect to see with these two teams.
Upamecano's header. Marcus Rabiot. Damsgaard for Cornelius. Mæhle. Damsgaard hit the deck, but jumps back to his feet. And that will probably be that. Hernandez has lost it here. Rabiot has to step in and does. Shows his value there. One last charge forward for France at the end of this first half. Mbappe actually strikes his own man in Olivier Giroud. He was doing his level best to get out of the way.
He was going so as well with that shot. Trying to duck out of the way, Giroud. Denmark's defensive work for them.
That is half-time. We thought tonight would be intriguing. We thought it would be tight. It's proved to be both. France have had their moments in front of goal. Kasper Schmeichel has had to scamper across his line on a couple of occasions. It has been a contest which has been well worth a watch, but we await the opening goal. France 0, Denmark 0.
በብዙ መልኩ ተጠብቆ የነበረው የፈረንሳይና የዴንማርክ ጨዋታ ግብ ሳይቆጠርበት ባዶ ለባዶ በሆነ ውጤት ተጠናቋል። ካፍታ ቆይታ በኋላ ስንመለስ የሁለቱ ቡድኖች የመጀመሪያ 45 ጨዋታ ምን ይመስላል የሚለውን ከተንታኞቻችን ጋር ይዘንላችሁ እንቀርባለን።
ቀላሉን ለማሳለፍ እንዲሁም የተቀላጠፈ ኑሮን ለመምራት የኢትዮጵያ ንግድ ባንክ የሞባይል መተግበሪያን አሁኑኑ ይጫኑ። የኢትዮጵያ ንግድ ባንክ ሁሌም የሚተማመኑበት ባንክ።
የኩሊት ንግዴን አሻሽዬ ህይወቴን ለመቀየር ከማን ልበደር?
ነዳጅ ለመቅዳት ብር ጎደለ፣ ምን ተሻለ?
አነሰ በዛ ሳልል ከደሞዜ ቆጥቤ ትምህርቴን እንዴት ላሻሽል?
ችግርን አቅልሎ ህይወት የሚቀይር አዲስ የዲጂታል ፋይናንስ አገልግሎት በቴሌብር። ቴሌብር መላ የገንዘብ ክፍተትን በክብር የሚሞላ ያለምንም መያዣ የሚያበድር አስተማማኝ መላ። ቴሌብር እንደ ኪሴ ግብይት ላይ እንዳሉ በቂ ገንዘብ ካልያዙ ምንም ሳይጨነቁ የሚፈልጉትን ያዛሉ። የጎደሎትን ብር በቴሌብር እንደ ኪሴ ይከፍላሉ። ቴሌብር ሳንዱቅ ጠብታ ውሃ በርሜል ይሞላል። በቴሌብር ሳንዱቅ በወለድና ያለወለድ ከአንድ ብር ጀምሮ በየዕለቱ መቆጠብ ይቻላል። ቴሌብር መላ
ክፍተት የሚሞላ
ቴሌብር እንደ ኪሴ
የግብይት ዋሴ
ቴሌብር ሳንዱቅ
ውጥን የሚያደምቅ
ፋይናንስ አገልግሎት ለሁሉም ኢትዮ ቴሌኮም።
የልማት ሐሳብ ጥንስስ ተባስቶ ተፈትሎ ከግቡ ሲደርስ እኛ ቀደምት የኢኮኖሚ አነቃቂ ኃይል ነበር። ጠምደው ሲያርሱ ዘርተው ሲያጭዱ የማሳው ፍሬ ሰምሮ ጎተራው ሲሞላ ምርኩዝ ሆነናል። የጥበበኞች ብዕር ከወረቀቱ ሲያርፍ እጃውሰን ሂሩት አባቷ ማን ነው ብለን ከጥያቄዎቻቸው መልስ ጋር ያስታረቅን ችግር ፈቺዎች በእሳት ወላፈን ተፈትኖ ቅርጹን እንዳያዘብረት ሐሳብ ተጋርተን መንገድ መርተን የሀገርን ልማት አንጸን ለትውልድ ያሻገርን ባለአሻራዎች በዓለም አደባባይ ሀገራችንን የወከለ ቦንድ አትመን በራስ አቅም በተባበረ ጉልበት ውሃን ወደ መብራት ያሻገርን የዘመን ችግር ፈቺ ድልድዮች ያልታዩ ገጾችን ገልጠን ልዩ ተሰጥኦን አፍክተን አዳዲስ ሐሳብ አዳብረን አብረን ለማደግ በጋራ ምንሰራ ከኢንዱስትሪ ግንባታ እስከ ምርት አቅርቦት ሀገር የሚገነቡ ባለራዕዮች ደጀን ሲሹ አብነቶች ከግዙፍ ኢኮኖሚ በስተጀርባ ስማችንን በደማቅ ቀለማት ተመን የብዙዎችን ሕይወት ለዘመናት ያቀና ባለብርቱ እጆች ከአንድ ክፍለ ዘመን በላይ የልማት አገልጋይ የኢትዮጵያ ልማት ባንክ የልማት አጋሩ
የቀድሞ ዘመን እሳቤ ልቀት የጥረታቸው ውጤት ፍለጋ ሥራ ሲሰራ ተቀርጾ ይታያል በመኖሪያቸው የጥበባቸው ጥግ አሻራ ከጥንቱ በተረዳነው ባወቅነው ዘመነኛውን ጨምረን መሰረታዊ ተቋማትን በአንድ ጥላ ስር አካተን ተቀናጅተን ባካበትነው ልምድ ማህበረሰብን እንገነባለን። ጊፍት ሪል ስቴት
ወደ ውቡ የተፈጥሮ መስህብ ስትጓዙ ዓለም የቅርስ መናገሻ ባላት የአፍሪካ ካሜሎቷ ጎንደር ውብ ጊዜ ይኖራችኋል። ተፈጥሮ ባህልና ታሪክ ትጎበኛላችሁ። ወደ ሰሜን ተራሮች ብሔራዊ ፓርክ ስትጓዙ ወደ አፍሪካ ጣሪያም ትወጣላችሁ። ውብ ፏፏቴዎች እንደ ዓለም እንግዶች እናንተም የሀገራችሁን ተፈጥሮ ተዋወቁት። የሀገራችሁ ትልቁ ተራራ የሚገኝበት የትም ዓለም የሌሉ ብርቅዬ የዱር እንስሳት ዓለም አቀፋዊ ደረጃ ያላቸውና ራሳቸው መስህብ የሆኑ ሎጆች፣ ውብ የእይታ ማማዎች፣ የካምፒንግ መንደር እልፍኞች፣ የሀገሬው የባህል ምሽት ትዕይንቶች ሁሉም የኛ ነው። ይጓዙ፣ ይጎብኙ፣ ሀገሩን ይወቁ። የኢፌዴሪ ቱሪዝም ሚኒስቴር
ፈረንሳይ ከዴንማርክ ያደረጉት የመጀመሪያ 45 ጨዋታ ግብ ሳይቆጠርበት ተጠናቋል። አስቀድመን ከጨዋታው በፊት ስናነሳው እንደነበረው የምድብ ሁለተኛ ጨዋታዎች በጣም ከባድ መሆናቸውን እየተመለከትን ነው። ዛሬም ግብ አልተቆጠረም በምድብ የሁለተኛ ጨዋታዎች ላይና ፈረንሳይ ያን ደማቅ የሚባል